Hello, all of my Be in Demand listeners. Today, I am going to be sharing with you a little sneak peek behind the scenes, what I've been creating with the Be in Demand Signature Speech Program. This is a program that many people have been asking me, and I finally have put it together. Before this program launched, the only way to learn my signature speech process was by working with me privately. So only my private clients actually learned all about this and were crafting their speeches. So today I wanted to dive into a little bit more about this program so that you can make the best decision if this is the right program for you. So first, let's just start off with, who is this for? This is for coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs. And every time I say service-based entrepreneurs, I always get a lot of like, what, really? Yes, really. VAs, web designers, brand specialists, you name it, even accountants, and the reason why is because these sort of people actually don't speak a lot. So just the fact that there aren't a whole lot of people who are speaking in your industry, speaking to like the perfect audiences, means that you are going to stand out. You're going to stand out. You're going to be positioned as the expert. And that's why people are going to either hire you that are in your audience, and we'll talk more about audiences, or they're going to be able to refer you. So let's just take like a VA. And one of a very special VA, and I helped her put a webinar together. Some children at home that sort of have diabetes, have some chronic illness. And she actually teaches other people, other VAs now, if you've got a child at home with some sort of a chronic illness, this is a great alternative as a career. So that in and of itself is why she is standing out. She is also going to be positioning herself to speak, at like the Diabetes Association. Moms with kids with diabetes, like there are these associations, and she wants to be one of their speakers. And she doesn't consider herself to be an extrovert either. She actually considers herself to be rather shy. But her reason why she's doing this is bigger than her shyness, essentially. And a lot of my clients, exact same thing. Their reason for getting out there is bigger than, oh, I'm shy, that shyness excuse. So coaches, consultants, to find audiences, not just meetings and not just conferences and not just networking groups, but I'm talking about high-level masterminds, live stream shows, getting on people's podcasts. Yeah, you're probably thinking, I'm going to use my signature speech on a podcast. And the answer is yes, you will. Parts of it. You're going to know parts of it so well, the stories that you tell, the lessons that you explain, how you establish credibility. All of that stuff is inside the signature speech program. So that's why I am so passionate about doing this, because when I left my corporate job, I had zero business experience, zero marketing experience. And I certainly wasn't a great public speaker back then either. But I didn't know how I was going to grow a business. And I fell into speaking. And when I mean I fell into speaking, literally it was like a group of people putting an event together, a networking event together. And they just sort of pointed at me because I had done some speaking when I was at Siemens. And the reason why I was speaking at Siemens is that I had to speak to groups of surgeons or groups of sonographers, people who would be using the equipment. And so they just naturally thought that, oh, well, she must be good at speaking. So that the first time that I spoke and I was just being of service, people came up to me afterwards and asked me questions about my business, about if I worked with clients one-on-one. And at first I just thought it was a fluke thing. But then it happened again and again. And that's how I ended up filling my practice, filling my coaching roster, and also replacing my corporate salary within 3 months. So I share with that story with you because that's how I got started in speaking. And that's how I saw how easy it was. Instead of having one conversation at a time, I was able to speak to many. So the waitlist for this program is open, and you can go to speakandstandout.com/SS, which stands for Signature Speech. So what's inside the program? Let me tell you what's inside the program. The program is divided into 3 different parts. There's the beginning, a middle, and an end. And there's 2 modules on each of these sections. Actually, I think that there's one of the sections actually has more, because we want to establish the module 1 is going to be like the foundation. You need a strong foundation when you are crafting your signature speech. You want to get crystal clear on your message and crystal clear on your goal for speaking. And when I say your goal for speaking, that is both a big global reason why you're speaking, but also a goal per event, per opportunity. Because sometimes it may be just to give. Sometimes it's going to be to practice a new story. Sometimes it's going to be like, I'm going to try converting. I'm going to try getting people on my wait list. I'm going to try getting people to book a call with me. You're always going to have a goal. And one of the things that you hear all the time out there in the speaking world is that there's a lot of people who don't say that you should have a goal. It should be all about the audience. And it is all about the audience, but it's also about you, because how you show up and what your goal is going to dictate what's inside that signature speech. So module 1 is all about getting really crystal clear on what your goal is, and also crystal clear on the message that you're going to be sharing with the audience in your speech. And I look at the message that you're sharing with the audience that you're going to be speaking as almost like if you put 2 of your hands together and you cup them together, and there was like a gift inside there. What's in that gift that you want to give your audience? And remember, your audience can be you're a podcast guest. It could be your own podcast. Speaking is so much more than just stages and Zoom these days. There's so many opportunities that are out there and those meeting planners are looking for you. They're looking for good speakers. And I'm going to teach you how to be a really good speaker, because when you have a really good presentation, you're going to get booked again and again and again. And after all, that is what you want, isn't it? So the second module is going to be like the first 30 seconds. How do you get your audience's attention? And the question that I always ask is like, what am I going to say? What are you going to say that's going to make people put their phones down, to not answer that text message, to not look at their email? What are you going to say that is so compelling that they put their phone down and they listen to you speak? So those first 30 seconds, are so critical for the rest of the presentation, because then we go into the second section. And there's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than just 30 seconds. There's a little bit in between there. But then the second section of the presentation is it's about building your authority. You have to share with the audience your credibility. You don't want to rely on the person who is actually introducing you, if there is somebody who's introducing you. And I have a whole different philosophy about that introduction, because typically I think, like most people really aren't listening. They're on their phones doing something else, like they're just busy while the introduction is going on. And the reason for that is I think that most introductions are rather boring. And the introduction that I help my clients with is just very entertaining. It's very light and airy. So then we're going to go on to the middle of the presentation. I mean, this is where you give value. This is where you give the tips, the lessons, the reason why you're there. That's what that middle part is for. But also I have a special thing that I call seeding. I like to plant little seeds. And I teach my clients how to plant little seeds, because those seeds are to sprout. And what I mean by that is that we get the audience to think about other things as well, to understand what ways that they could be hiring you, using your services, who else they might know that they could refer you to. And those are like the little seeds that are planted throughout the presentation. So you're probably thinking, well, why do I need seeds? Why can't I just tell people? Well, a lot of times there are a lot of meeting planners who are going to hire people, and they're going to tell you no pitching. So I have come up with a different way that is not like an infomercial. It's just planting little seeds along the way. And then, of course, you are also going to learn like how to have that call to action. What do you want the audience to do? And we want to make sure that the audience does just that. Maybe it's to download your opt-in, sign up for a call. You are there to like influence them, to share something with them. Like, what is it that you want them to do afterwards, to think or believe after you're done speaking? What action do you want them to take? Meeting planners love it when there's some sort of action that the audience actually does. And I keep saying meeting planners, but that can also be the podcast guest who is interviewed. Well, they're not podcast guests. They're the podcast host that's interviewing you. Or if you're, speaking at a high-end mastermind, it's whoever's that coach or consultant, whoever's running that mastermind wants to see that their members of their mastermind actually like there's something for them to do, and that they actually are able to take action, because then they know that their members are growing. So I use the word meeting planner, but it is a very general term. And then I'm also going to give you some speaking tips, because a lot of people come to me who have never spoken before. They are brand new to speaking, and I will give you some speaking tips that will give you the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak. And because there are some really easy ones, and the reason why I say this is, and I'm trying to think of like exactly how I'm saying this right now, is that there's a lot of things. There are some very common mistakes that I see a lot of people making. And those are the ones that I'm going to give you that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. I have helped organizations that do sales presentations. And when I say sales presentation, I'm thinking of a very particular one that their sales presentations would be 3 to 4 days long because the software is that complex. They would bring me in the day before that they actually had to start on day one. And there I am, I'm trying to help people, like they are computer people. They're about programming, and they're also they're not just programmers, but they're also project managers. And like, they're not used to speaking. So I would always give them, here's the biggest bang for your buck. Here are some of the critiques, my suggestions that I would get to help them to change things. And it would have the biggest impact. So those are some of the things that I'm going to help you do with the speaking tips. And as also for the fast action sign-on bonus, there's actually going to be, because once you have a speech, now it's like, well, how am I going to get booked? And I'm going to give you a free ticket into the Get Booked Masterclass. Yes, that's right. I have hosted this both in person and also virtually. And my clients and the students and the people who attend love it. Like within under 2 hours, you're actually going to learn what took me years to learn: how to get booked easily, how to get rebooked easily. And as one of my clients once said because there's some scripts in there that you can use both in email and also on the phone. And as one of my clients once said, she goes, they work. They're unbelievable. They work. That was Amy. And also, as a bonus for the program, I'm bringing in a guest expert who is going to speak on humor. He is somebody who just oozes humor. It just like naturally, that's just the way that his brain works and thinks. And in the speaking world, we say that the more they laugh, the more money you make. So that's a synopsis of this program. It's going to be starting. Soon. Depending on when you're listening to this recording, definitely get on the wait list, because there are so many people that end up signing up on the wait list that the program sells out from the wait list. So I cannot encourage you any more than I have, but I would get on the wait list. So that is speakandstandout.com/SS. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, DM me on Instagram. But I am here to help you use speaking to position you as the expert, to monetize your authority, because speaking really is the fastest way to grow your business.